come in, come in, come in, come in, come in. Good morning and all that. Right, you may have noticed that I am holding my face in a queer way. Brace yourselves. I have a cold sore the size of Belgium under this hand. If you need to lie down or get something for the shock, do. I am going to be taking my hand away presently. It's not pretty, okay? I've warned you. All right, I'm doing it slowly. I am disfigured. Right, I want to talk to you about the Tao of cold sores. Why don't I fix my plaster? Right, this is my wisdom about cold sores. When I'm viral, which I was last week, you know, with the old cold and then feeling fluey and all of that, that's the precise time that the cold sores emerge on me, because any virally stuff in my body is up and running, you see, and cold sores are viruses. So, around the time that I realise I'm sick, I need to be lamping in the lysine and then using, you know, the beepy thing that I use, you know, on the area to combat the cold sores. And I need to be slathering myself in Zovirax day and night and making drinks of it, adding hot water and drinking it and just preparing myself, you know, to combat it. And then the other thing I've realised is that once the cold sore has a foothold, it's all over, do you know? Like, there is nothing I can do. Once it's arrived, nothing can be done to speed it up. It's got to run its course. And I'm using that as a sort of a metaphor for everything. You know, like, it doesn't have to be a cold sore. It can be, well, obviously, you know, like if you're feeling fluey, and it's not the actual flu, but that's another story. But you're feeling bad, you know. And so whenever I'm sick, and I'm very sick because I am a bad patient, as we've probably established, and I have to ring old woman to complain, and she goes, "How are you, Marian?" And I go, "Oh, ma'am, I'm shite. I'm really bad." And she goes, "You better go to the doctor." And that annoys me very much, because the doctors can do nothing if you have a virus. Sure, they can't. You know, like, there's nothing they can do, and there's no point me going and spending €60 and wasting their time. I suppose it's not wasted if they're getting €60, do you know? But like, old woman thinks the doctors are gods. Well, not obviously God. No, because there's only one God, you know, but small sort of wannabe gods, you know, that they can fix anything and that they can make everything okay. How did I get onto this? Anyway, things have to run their course. You know, if it's a heartbreak, if it's a friendship loss, if it's a career setback, you're wounded, and you can't just put on the emotional equivalent of the Zovirax and be grand. It has to go through all the phases, as my cold sore does, and become worser and worser and worser, and bubble up like something in a science fiction-y yoke. They're really horrible cold sores, aren't they? And then they have to go all scabby and awful. Oh God, it's an awful business. And I have to show myself in the world and feel crappy. And then one day it'll be better. By Thursday this will be better. 10 days. It always takes 10 days. So, yes, so I'm using the philosophy, the lifespan of a cold sore, to all the things that are currently upsetting me. Now, to tell you something nice. Now, you know the way I'm under house arrest, and I am under house arrest. I got sent away on a top secret mission for work for the Sunday Times. And I was sent to Bath in England. Have you ever been? Oh my God, it's the best place. It's so beautiful. And one of the days, myself and him there behind the camera, we went to this, it's a hot springs, but it's on the roof of a building in the middle of Bath. And it was really weird, because it was like being in Russia or Sweden or somewhere. Like, you go in and you pay your money, and it is pricey. And they give you a towel and a robe and them things, flip-flops, and you can keep the flip-flops. And it's all, like, there are changing rooms and lockers and then so you go up to the top floor, and And then there's this pool of water at 32 degrees and not smelly. If you're used to the Lisdoonvarna awful bad egg smell, the sulphur smell, there's no smell. And there was people, English people, like ordinary people, you know, and us, you know, Irish person in there. And you just get in, and you see, a woman I admire very much, it's Louise Moore, she's my publisher. She told me she had gone with her husband and that they had sat there for hours, you can say for 2 hours, so she must have sat there for 2 hours, and that they reconnected, you know. So I had told that to himself. So we're sitting there about 5 minutes, and I said, we have to talk to each other. And he goes, about what? And I said, I don't know, things that we wouldn't normally talk about. So we tried. And after about 12 minutes, I said to him, have we reconnected yet? And he goes, I don't know about this week, because he said we hadn't ever disconnected. That was just a ruse, because he was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable too. It was a bit weird, you know, but it was lovely. And I felt very daring, and not me, and kind of, because whenever somebody suggests something new to me, I go, maybe. Or we could go home and get into bed and read, and go on the internet and look at cushion covers and cheap shoes, please. I am very, very unadventurous, but I'm so glad I did this, and I felt, I don't know, cosmopolitan-y, but it was very enjoyable, lovely and warm. Lovely and warm. And it was lovely and warm, but the day was really, really cold, because it was really cold in England last week. And all the steam was coming off the water, and it was up high, so you could sort of see Bath. They said you had views over Bath. You didn't really, but it was still very nice. So that's all my news. For those of you writing a book, I woke up practically every night last week with such a crisis of confidence. I thought, this is appalling. This is absolute rubbish. This is awful. And I felt you know, I mean, there's something about those hours between 3 and 5 where you just feel, because we haven't eaten. That's what it is. We should have stuff by our bed to combat that awful depression, that low blood sugar, that, I don't know. It's an awful feeling. I mean, there's nothing to distract us, and all the fears came up. But I don't feel like that today. I worked all over the weekend, and I'm feeling, you know, the end is still in sight. Oh yeah, one of the things was, Christ alive, I had to write a sex scene. I'm still not the better of it. It's the most, I don't know, it takes a lot out of me. So it does. It does. Anyway, but I'm all right today, apart from being disfigured. Oh yeah, and another thing I was thinking of, you know, we should have face brooches for when we have cold sores and bad spots and stuff like that. I have a little spot as well. You know, kind of shiny, sparkly things. Like if I had a diamante flower on top of this cold sore plaster, I'd look nice, wouldn't I? It'd be sort of like earrings, but a bit more forward. I think I'm going to go on Dragon's Den and pitch that. I think it's got legs. I'm talking rubbish. Goodbye. I hope you're well. Goodbye.